Atomic Habits by James Clear is a comprehensive guide to understanding how small habits can lead to remarkable changes in our lives. The book offers actionable advice based on psychological principles, real-world examples, and research, providing a framework for transforming our habits to achieve lasting success. Clear's core argument is that instead of focusing on grand goals, we should focus on improving our systems, or the processes that lead to outcomes. This book is about the power of incremental change and how tiny habits, repeated consistently, can compound into significant results over time. Introduction: The surprising power of atomic habits. Clear starts by introducing the concept of atomic habits, small habits that are easy to perform but compound into remarkable results over time. He explains that habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Just as money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of habits multiply as you repeat them, leading to large improvements. He also introduces the concept of the 1% improvement rule, emphasizing that getting 1% better each day can lead to transformative results. Chapter 1: The Fundamentals: Why Tiny Changes Make a Big Difference. Clear explains that success is the product of daily habits, not once-in-a-lifetime transformations. He encourages readers to focus on small actions that are easy to perform but, when repeated, can produce significant changes. Clear asserts that focusing on systems rather than goals is the key to achieving success. Goals are good for setting direction, but systems are best for making progress. He also distinguishes between outcomes, the results we want, processes, the systems that lead to those results, and identity, our beliefs about who we are. Chapter 2: How Your Habits Shape Your Identity, and Vice Versa. In this chapter, Clear introduces the idea that habits are tied to our identity. He states that lasting change is more likely when it becomes part of your identity. Instead of saying, "I want this," say, "I am this." For instance, rather than focusing on the goal of reading a book, you should aim to become the type of person who reads daily. He introduces a three-layered model of behavior change, with identity at the core, followed by processes and then outcomes. Clear encourages focusing on identity-based habits. By deciding what kind of person you want to be, the habits that align with that identity will follow. Chapter 3: How to Build Better Habits. In 4 simple steps, Clear breaks down habits into a 4-step process: cue, craving, response, and reward. This is the habit loop that governs every action we take. The cue triggers a behavior, the craving provides motivation, the response is the actual action, and the reward reinforces the behavior, making it more likely to be repeated. He presents the 4 laws of behavior change, which are based on these 4 steps. Make it obvious, cue. Make it attractive, craving. Make it easy, response. Make it satisfying, reward. Each of these laws corresponds to one of the stages of the habit loop and provides practical strategies for building better habits. Chapter 4: The Man Who Didn't Look Right. This chapter uses a story to illustrate the power of making habits obvious. Clear explains that many of our behaviors are triggered by specific cues, often without our conscious awareness. He suggests using implementation intentions, a plan where you specify the time and place where a habit will occur. For example, instead of saying, "I will exercise more," say, "I will exercise on Monday at 6 p.m. at the gym." The clearer and more specific the cue, the more likely you are to act on it. He also introduces the concept of habit stacking, a strategy where you pair a new habit with an existing habit. For instance, if you want to develop a habit of meditation, you can stack it with your existing habit of having a cup of coffee in the morning. E.g., after I make my coffee, I will meditate for 2 minutes. Chapter 5: The Best Way to Start a New Habit. Clear elaborates on the second law of behavior change: make it attractive. He explains that habits are often driven by our desires. The more attractive or appealing a habit is, the more likely we are to stick with it. Clear suggests the use of temptation bundling, a technique where you pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. For instance, you can allow yourself to watch your favorite show only while you're exercising. Clear also delves into the power of social influence. He explains how our habits are often shaped by the people around us and suggests joining groups where the desired behavior is the norm. Chapter 6: Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. In this chapter, Clear shifts the focus to the environment and how it can influence our habits. He argues that the cues in our environment are often more powerful than motivation. To build better habits, you should design your environment to make good behaviors obvious and easy. For example, if you want to practice guitar, leave your guitar out in the open where you'll see it frequently. Conversely, make bad habits less obvious by removing triggers from your environment. Clear also introduces the concept of choice architecture, where you design your surroundings to make positive habits easier and negative habits harder. Chapter 7: The Secret to Self-Control. Clear tackles the myth of self-control, arguing that people with good habits aren't necessarily more disciplined. Rather, they design their environments in a way that reduces the need for willpower. He suggests that self-control is often temporary, and the best way to maintain habits is to make the desired behavior the easiest choice. Chapter 8: How to Make a Habit Irresistible. This chapter expands on the concept of making habits attractive by explaining how our brain's dopamine system drives behavior. Dopamine is not just released when we achieve a reward, but in anticipation of it. Thus, the anticipation of a reward is often enough to motivate action. To build good habits, Clear suggests that we can use strategies to increase the anticipation of the reward, making the habit more attractive. Chapter 9: The Role of Family and Friends in Shaping Your Habits. Clear discusses the social aspect of habits, explaining that we are influenced by the habits of those around us. He divides social influence into three groups: the close, family and friends; the many, the tribe or society; and the powerful, those we admire. To improve your habits, it is helpful to align yourself with groups and individuals who already practice the habits you desire to adopt. Chapter 10: How to Find and Fix the Causes of Your Bad Habits. In this chapter, Clear offers practical advice on how to identify and eliminate bad habits by making them less obvious, unattractive, difficult, and unsatisfying. He discusses the importance of self-awareness in understanding the cues that trigger bad habits, and suggests strategies like reframing to shift how we view undesirable behaviors. Chapter 11: Walk Slowly but Never Backward. Clear emphasizes the importance of consistency in building habits, even if progress seems slow. He highlights the concept of habit tracking, where you use a visual representation, like crossing off days on a calendar, to reinforce your progress. This simple act of tracking your habits can motivate you to maintain streaks and ensure consistency. Clear also discusses the importance of never missing twice. While it's inevitable that you may occasionally miss a day, it's crucial to get back on track immediately rather than letting the habit lapse entirely. Chapter 12: The Law of Least Effort. Clear explains the third law of behavior change: make it easy. He argues that friction, the small inconveniences that stand between you and a habit, plays a large role in shaping our behavior. By reducing the friction that stands in the way of good habits and increasing the friction for bad habits, you can make it easier to stick with positive changes. The key is to prime your environment for success. Chapter 13: How to Stop Procrastinating by Using the 2-Minute Rule. This chapter introduces the 2-minute rule, a technique where you break down new habits into their smallest components, making them so easy that they only take 2 minutes to complete. For instance, if you want to develop a habit of reading more, start by committing to read for just 2 minutes a day. The idea is that once you start, it's easier to keep going. Chapter 14: How to Make Good Habits. Inevitable and Bad Habits. Impossible. Clear emphasizes the power of automation and commitment devices. By setting up systems that make it easier to stick to good habits, such as automatic savings plans, and harder to engage in bad habits, like putting social media blocking software on your phone, you can ensure that your behavior aligns with your long-term goals. Chapter 15: The Cardinal Rule of Behavior Change. This chapter focuses on the fourth law of behavior change: make it satisfying. Clear explains that immediate rewards are powerful motivators. He suggests using reinforcements and rewards to make good habits more satisfying. For instance, if you're trying to save money, reward yourself when you hit certain milestones. Chapter 16: How to Stick with Good Habits. Every day, Clear revisits the idea of habit tracking and introduces the concept of the paperclip strategy, where you move a paperclip for each successful completion of a habit. The visual satisfaction of tracking progress helps maintain consistency and keeps you motivated to continue. Chapter 17: How an Accountability Partner Can Change Everything. In the final chapter, Clear discusses the importance of accountability. He explains that having an accountability partner, or using public accountability, can help keep you on track. External pressure can reinforce internal commitment, making it more likely that you'll stick to your commitments. Clear introduces the concept of habit contracts, where you create a formal agreement with someone else that outlines the consequences if you fail to meet your goals. This creates a layer of social pressure that can help ensure that you stay on course. He also explains how accountability groups or partners can provide support, encouragement, and motivation. Conclusion: the truth about success. In the concluding section of Atomic Habits, Clear revisits the main theme of the book, that the process of habit formation is the most important aspect of self-improvement. He argues that focusing on tiny improvements and committing to incremental progress is what leads to lasting change. Clear reinforces the idea that habits are the building blocks of significant transformation, and by mastering small habits, we can ultimately achieve any goal. Clear closes by emphasizing the need to maintain patience and perseverance, noting that results often come slowly, but the long-term benefits of consistent habits will outweigh the initial discomfort of change. He encourages readers to embrace the process of self-improvement and to stay committed to the systems they create, rather than focusing solely on immediate outcomes. Key takeaways from Atomic Habits. Focus on systems, not goals. Goals are important for direction, but systems are key for progress. Success comes from the processes you build to achieve your goals. Small habits compound. Over time, small, consistent improvements, even as little as 1% each day, can lead to massive success over time. Identity shapes behavior. The most effective way to change your habits is to focus on becoming the type of person you want to be. Start with identity and let your habits follow. The 4 laws of behavior change. To build good habits, make them obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. To break bad habits, do the opposite. Design your environment for success. Your environment has a significant influence on your behavior. Make it easier to perform good habits and harder to perform bad ones. Habit tracking increases motivation. Keeping a log of your habits helps reinforce consistency and provides visual proof of your progress. Accountability is powerful. Having an accountability partner or making your goals public can create external motivation that keeps you on track. Atomic Habits is ultimately about how the small actions you take today can transform your future. By focusing on tiny, consistent improvements, designing your environment, and understanding the science of habit formation, anyone can achieve remarkable success. Thank you for watching this video. Like and subscribe this video.